I'm going to give a brief introduction. My name's Dr. Con Kafataris, and I just thank you everybody for coming today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules. We have three speakers here today, but first I've just got to go through a couple of ground rules, so bear with me. Well, I'm not as tall as Greg. Greg can start. Okay, firstly, because this is a peaceful rally, okay, we request that everybody conduct themselves in a peaceful manner, all right? Basically, anybody that doesn't conduct themselves in a peaceful manner, we'll just be asking you respectfully to stop. And if you don't stop, we're just going to refer you to our friends up the back who are in blue uniforms, okay? We're not here for any trouble, and we don't want any trouble either. People have come to hear the speakers, so we again respectfully ask you to let them speak. Please, no heckling or no comments from the audience. Okay, if time permits, there'll be time for some questions for the speakers in like a panel discussion. But please give them the respect that you would want you want to be given to you if you were doing something similar. Now, even though we'll be discussing political issues, we at the Australian Christian Alliance, we're not supporting any one particular party. Indeed, our speakers come from different organisations. All right, we're here to talk about the issue. As I said, if time permits, we're going to have some questions. What I do ask is that you ask a question. Okay, the microphone's not for you to make a sermon, make a statement, tell us your life story. Please keep it brief. Ask the question, make it relevant, so that as many questions can be addressed. We at the Australian Christian Alliance would love to connect with anybody who wants to help us to fight for our religious freedoms. So there's tables there for you to register. If you haven't already registered, you can do so after the event. We really would like to get started, but please give us your details. We want to stay in touch. Now, we're preparing a media statement after the rally. Okay, so this is important. This is going to be the only media content authorised by the Australian Christian Alliance. We take no responsibility for any content other than what's been authorised by the ACA. So anybody using any coverage or information about the rally will be, that's other than what we've authorised, you're going to be liable for all the consequences, legal or otherwise. Okay, we take no responsibility for it. If you upset somebody and they want to take you to court, that's your problem, not ours. Okay? Anybody who wants the official media release, please see the man with the camera. That's Vic Melly. Vic, can you give us a wave? Okay, please see Vic. Vic will give you give your details to him. He'll then be able to get the official, the authorised media release to you. Now, because this is a rally for religious freedom, I thought it would be really only appropriate for us to begin with a word of prayer. Now, I thought to myself, okay, we've got different faith backgrounds, different denominational backgrounds. What would be a prayer that everybody would know? And I remembered when I went to school, we would all recite the Lord's Prayer. Okay, so for those who wish to let this moment pass you by, but for everybody else, please join me as we say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us in temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Thank you. Okay, well, my job here, besides introducing the speakers, it's just also to give you a bit of an overview as to why we're here. This rally actually began more than a year ago, in November 2017. It was after the legalisation of same-sex marriage. There was an informal meeting of some people at a Catholic church not far from here, the Our Lady of the Rosary Catholic Church. And there were people gathered who were concerned about the consequences of same-sex marriage, particularly the consequences of religious freedom. Many were also very angry that even though areas such as Fairfield, Liverpool, Bankstown and others strongly opposed same-sex marriage, the members of Parliament who represented those electorates voted to legalise same-sex marriage. So these people felt that the MPs had misrepresented them, okay? They said no, but the MPs said yes, all right? And they're wondering, okay, what can we do about it? Well, it was at that meeting that I met a man named Vic Melly, and as the old saying goes, my life would never be the same. And anyone who knows Vic will understand what I'm talking about. Now, as the months went on, for those of you that have been following this, you could see that the Rainbow Lobby actually started to reveal their true colours, okay? Does anyone remember how we were promised during the same-sex marriage campaign that there'd be no consequences? Do you remember that? There was only about love? Remember all that? Well, it wasn't, was it? Okay, it wasn't very long before we saw people who opposed same-sex marriage for religious reasons, such as Margaret Court, the tennis legend, Israel Folau, the rugby player. They were publicly vilified. Okay, churches had attacks come upon them. The trend continued more and more, and so people became more and more concerned about the threats to religious freedom. In fact, late last year, the Australian newspaper ran a front-page ad, a front-page story on it, and one of the people that's at this rally was actually, photographed in that story. What would make a national newspaper run a story on religious freedom? The fact that it's under threat. Then we had the Ruddock Report. Okay, 16,000 submissions to the Ruddock Report. Okay, more than any other inquiry in the history of Senate inquiries. Has anyone actually seen the Ruddock Report yet? No, because it hasn't been officially released. It's been leaked, right? But it hasn't been officially released. It was given to the government in May of 2018, and the Liberal government still haven't released their their official response. And just in case you think I'm just bashing the Liberal Party, no, because then we had the Labor Party, okay, give us the Penny Wong bill, all right, that wanted to take away the rights of religious schools to operate according to the teachings of their faith. So not only does that mean that your children could be taught stuff that you don't want them to be taught, but if you take away the religious quality of a school, it's no longer a religious school. You take away its very identity. So what we have, the situation we have, ladies and gentlemen, is that both major parties are ignoring the issue of religious freedom. They're not talking about it. It's not on their radar. They're not making any statements or any policies about it. They're ignoring it. Okay? And I, for one, am sick of it, to be perfectly frank, because their ignorance results in three very real threats. And I'm going to cover these briefly. Basically, your freedom, my freedom, is under threat. Why do I say that? Because you might say, oh, it's just religion. No, it's more than that, because your thoughts are governed by your beliefs, right? And your actions are governed by your thoughts. So your beliefs govern everything. And for a religious person, their beliefs come from their religion. So hopefully you can see that we actually don't have freedom, true freedom, unless we have freedom of belief. In other words, freedom of religion. So religion's everything. It's really important. Whatever your religion is, okay, you should have the right to practice that, and you should have the right to have your life guided by that religion. Your faith is under threat because, as I've mentioned, there are many people in Parliament, okay, and in the political parties who want to take away the rights of religious bodies to function in accordance with their faith. And because your faith and your freedom is under threat, your families are under threat. Because if religious schools can't teach religious teaching on marriage and sexuality, there's nothing to stop your children being taught stuff that you don't agree with. Okay? So rather than keep complaining, a small group of us decided to actually get off our blessed assurance and do something about it. All right? So that's why we've organised this rally. All right? We want to wake up we want to wake everybody up to the threats to your freedom, to your families, and to your faith. So, just a brief overview of what we're going to cover. Okay, I like to look at this rally and the speakers as busting myths, bursting bubbles, revealing lies. Because the first myth, many people are saying that religion is just what happens in a place of worship. In other words, only within the four walls of your church, your mosque, or your place of worship, and it's only on a particular day of the week. They're also saying that religious people shouldn't get involved in political issues. Well, our first speaker, the lovely Asher Towers, will bust that myth. Other people during this discussion have said to me, oh, what are you worried about? Why are you making such a big deal? We've already got religious freedom. We've already got protection. That's what they're saying. Well, our second speaker, Greg Walsh, will bust that myth. And our third speaker will cover this, that many are saying, oh, well, yeah, you're saying the major parties aren't listening. You're saying that they don't care. And what can we do about it? If they're not listening to us, what's the point? Well, Mark Latham is going to cover what we can do about it and bust that myth.